I'm leading the show. Boom. Perfect.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna start this one off. I love this question. It's why is spirituality becoming a trend? Now, I like this question a lot when I got it, because I've been noticing this as well, coming from a very religious person, and I've noticed that religion is dying away and spirituality is becoming up on the rise.
It's a trend.
Now, it's a good trend, and I feel like we should keep it a trend, but spirituality is, I think, becoming higher because people are leaving religion. Now, religion has rules. They have a lot of, this you can do. Yeah, it's written. It's you can or you can't do this. And so spirituality is the thing where it has those good morals, those good beliefs, but the rules are not there. You can do it however you want.
It's very flex.
Very flex.
It's not a lot of rules.
But here's the reason why I think it's becoming a trend. I actually don't think it's becoming a trend because there's more good people all of a sudden.
No.
I think it's a trend because of the opposite. I think less people want to follow the rules and they want to say that they're good people, or they actually are good people. I know that people are good.
Right.
But I think that people don't know what to follow. And if you don't know what to follow, if you don't follow any rules, then you're spiritual and you're not religious.
Right.
And so I think because we mentioned this earlier, there's so many options. There's so many different churches and religions and ways to be spiritual. I don't know which one to choose, so I'm just going to choose none of them because I can't choose them all.
No.
And if I was to choose them all, I'd be locked down I'd be like
I'd locked into something.
I'd be so straight. And so I'm going to choose none of them. Or learn about none of them. And I'm just going to say I'm spiritual.
Spiritual, right. I think in my mind, because I'm a simple person, right? In my mind, the way I see religion and spirituality, religion to me is like injectable steroids. It's 120 cc's of Jesus to the buttocks. Hardcore. Spirituality is like SARMs. You're dancing around the idea of steroids, but you ain't ready for it, right? You're just not there.
Wait, what is SARMs?
SARMs is basically like they're like androgen, like basically they shut down the part of your brain that produces estrogen. So that way naturally your test goes up. It's basically you're dancing around steroids.
You're taking away, but it's not. You're not filling it in.
Right. But just like spirituality, right? It's just kind of like you're kind of dancing around.
That's so true. Okay, yeah.
So, and I think that one, like you said, right? People don't want to be bogged down. They don't want to follow like a set standards or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Here's my problem with this whole thing. Spirituality becoming a trend. I said before that it's a good trend, which it is. That means that people are calling in some way that I like to be, enlightened.
Something above themselves.
Yeah, I want to be something above myself. That's great. Here's my problem. Religion doesn't bog anybody down. It never has. Not true religion. And so just because there's rules doesn't mean that's I'm locked in. It actually gives us more freedom. It's like so much more safety when you follow, religion, follow the rules, the commandments, whatever you believe that they are. That's my issue, is when people think that freedom is everywhere. Because freedom leads us to what? Freedom leads us to sometimes addiction. Freedom leads us to poor choices. And are those, does that mean we're free?
Right. I think that a lot of people, right, they say stuff like, I don't want to be answerable to a higher power, or, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. There's so many rules and regulations. Have you ever seen like laws? Like there's so many laws, bro.
Yeah.
Have you ever like bowed down to your boss? Not in a literal sense, but like you've definitely
obeyed your boss.
Right.
Yeah.
You are a slave to something.
Yes.
The way that I see religion, no matter what religion you are, at least you're just being honest that you're a slave to something. Whereas I feel like people love to live in the illusion that they're not a slave to something, when they in fact are.
They really are.
Like maybe money's your god and you're a slave to that.
I don't want to say slave, but servant maybe would be a better one.
Nah, dude, you're a slave.
Okay.
Bow down, bitch.
Oh my gosh.
But no, seriously. I think spirituality is one of those things where it's just kind of like, you're basically, you're just ambiguous, right? And it's very agreeable. I think actually what it comes down to, people don't like to be any one thing because they want to be agreeable.
They want to,
because the more that you are solidified in a thing or an ideology or a dogma, the more that the lines are drawn in the sand. Not saying that you can't be both. Not saying that you can't be religious but yet hear somebody else out. But the general consensus is, if I'm bogged down to a religion, I'm automatically looked at in a certain way. I want to be agreeable. So I'm going to say I'm spiritual. And also, if you're religious, you're going to have to kind of read, right? Because that's what the religion is based upon. Almost all religions,
you're gonna have to read book. Something. You're so right. You're so right. Now,
so spirituality, you don't need to read, son.
Exactly. I want to make this clarification because it's very important. I've gotten this a lot because I'm religious. I've gotten this a ton. People when they say that I'm spiritual, when they say that they're spiritual, what we have to realize is that spirituality is actually here and religion is actually up here, meaning that this one's harder to get to. So when people say that religion, you're bogged down, as if I'm stuck or if I've gone down lower, that's actually not true.
You're elevated.
It's harder to be religious. It's a more superior way of action and lifestyle. And so I don't like when people preach to me. They don't need to tell me how to follow rules or who I should be when I'm being somewhat higher than that, following more rules than them. And what I don't like is when I say, I'm religious, or when they know I'm religious or whatever, they say, well, you see, I'm more of a spiritual type, as if they've gone
What do you think they're really saying when they say that?
What they're saying is, I'm not there yet. They're saying, okay, I'm not at your level, which it should be, but I don't like when people try to act like this. Spirituality is higher than religion when it's not.
But like you just said, though, aren't you doing what they're doing to you, though, by saying that religion's up here? Like you're basically, the argument argument could be your argument is the same thing as their argument. So
what do they have to do to be spiritual?
No, I get that.
Is following.
There's not as much work. There's definitely not as much work, but that doesn't necessarily mean that one is above the other. For me, I just feel like they're two totally like different things. Like they're in their own category. Like I'm comparing like, two different type of meats or something like that. It's just like there's spirituality and then there's religion. There is a middle ground. Like you remember Venn diagrams, bro? Like in middle school.
Yeah, that little vesica piscis in the middle.
Bro. I miss Venn diagrams.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm simple. And that really puts it into perspective.
Once you just get the two and the
look at that. I feel like I think that a lot of people are going spiritual because they don't want to be not agreeable. I think that that's what it really boils down to. Because when I get people on one-on-one conversations, they be going in about like religion, and really they know a lot about religion, but they're like afraid because they don't want to be socially not accepted. But in public they're like, oh, I don't know anything, I'm spiritual, bro.
Yeah, I'm spiritual.
Right, go pray to your tree then. I don't know.
Right.
Okay.
I do think though, at the end of the day, with spirituality and religion, the main goal is to build a relationship with a higher power. And in
the bright side, that is like
religion,
the best thing.
Religion is just a more clear-cut way to build my relationship with God. And if I was to do that in a spiritual way without following all the things, I would still be building a relationship with the same God, but it would be slower and not as extreme.
I think for me, as long as you're like doing something that's outside of yourself, because the self will usually lead to like destruction. You think that there's a lot of things that are good for you that are actually not. So I think as long as you're doing something that's above yourself, that's always good. There was another Okay So Boom topic.
All right, let's hit it.
Okay So Boom, has feminism killed relationships? Yes.
Yes.
No, serious.
What
note.
happened, bro? What happened with that whole thing?
So, in my opinion, right? This is my opinion. First wave feminism, amazing. Second wave feminism, amazing. Modern day feminism, trash.
Dude, I don't know what the whole where it started.
I'm gonna keep it very simple when
Or
it comes
when it's
to
gonna
this.
end.
It's not gonna end. It's only gonna get worse.
But I saw this way. I just saw this post the other day of these people. I don't know what they were. I think they were like feminists protesting. They were barking. Did you ever see that?
Really?
They were just barking at on a protest. All of
That's
them.
interesting. Did they identify as dogs then? Were they culturally appropriating the dogs
I have no idea.
without their consent, dude?
Somebody did an edit where they put the hellhounds on Call of Duty. It's like, fetch me their souls.
Send me their
And they're just like,
no. If I had to boil this down, right? Because I don't want to get too into it, because I think it's very clear cut. Like, yeah, feminism has destroyed relationships. Me personally, I know a lot of feminists. I don't know a single one that has had healthy, sustainable relationships. They're usually with a guy whose test level is that of like a 9-year-old man. And they're just angry and bitter about life. And this is why I think that is. I'm speculating, right? I'm dumb. I'm speculating, but I think that this is what it comes down to. Instead, when I look at man and woman, I look at a nice puzzle piece. Like, you know, that dumb kid that was in history class and they were like, this is South America, this is Africa. And he was like, hey, they kind of look like they fit together, right? And then this teacher was like, this guy, what does he know? And it turns out he was right. I feel like the man and woman were supposed to fit together. We were Pangea, right? And then feminism was like continental drifting. And now we're oceans apart. So instead of accentuating masculine traits, our biology, science, and making us good men, not toxic men, good men. And instead of looking at women, their biology, their strengths, their weaknesses, right? And instead of coming together to work together to be like, I don't know, good parents, we're actually sacrificing our strengths and we're sacrificing our weaknesses to meet this really mediocre baseline where neither one of us are good at being women or men, and we're confusing it. And now we're both miserable because we're like, I want a man. This is what I got, a freaking soy boy hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it sucks because now you feel shame to just be who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody's like, oh, you know, you want to be a mom, you want to stay at home and have him work. That's because he taught you that. That's because the patriarchy designed it that way. You know, has anybody ever thought of the fact that like maybe some women just actually want that and some men actually just want that? And I don't know, there's biology has a little something to do. I'm not saying that people are set in a set role and follow that role always. But you'd be lying to say that there's not generalizations about men and women that make us men and women. Yeah.
I think I agree, and I like what you were saying because I feel like you're actually very true. I think one of the most important things, and to the feminists out there, I do want to let you know that I definitely, you know, I have a lot of love for you guys, and I have a lot of respect for you as people, and anytime I say anything that is anything contrary is just not true, I really do love everyone. I think that everybody needs to be heard and everybody needs to be loved, and I know that men and women are totally uniquely different, and we're not the same, and nor should we ever.
But we're equal. We're different but equal. Yes,
yeah, we're different but we're equal, and I think we need to you know understand that. And I think that all the injustices and bad things that have happened and should always be healed. But yeah, I do hear where the feminists come from.
Yeah, I think that basically the bottom line is that, you know, by coming down to this mediocre level, we're not making each other better. I think that if people really want peace in modern relationships, they need to look at what they're good at and exemplify that with a partner, you know, match that with a partner. If you guys are just both bums, you're going to get a bum relationship. Like, you know what I'm saying? Make each other better instead of competing with each other. And that's what feminism, in my opinion, has done. It's put men and women at odds, and now we're just completely screwing each other. We're like literally screwing each other, but we hate each other. It's like the weirdest thing ever. Because even like the most hardcore feminist is like, shit, but I kind of still need the dick. So I guess I'll leave feminism for tomorrow.
I think this whole thing could be really helped with just more love for whatever side you're on.
Yeah.
Just more love for them.
Love, understanding, and just try to hear out the other side.
Because what we could do instead is we could pick out all the reasons you're wrong, but that would just lead us to, you know, further polarization and division. And so I think that if we want to mend it, we just got to have more love. And that's something that it's not a discussion. It's more of like just an act.
We're doing a survey around the country on the way population handles themselves and speaks and deals with their friends and interact with their peers.